Hey guys, this is Locke. This is going to be my EX review for Rain. So first of all, I'm going to go over Rain's EX skills first, and then I'm going to talk about him. So his EX upgrades is that on his Spirit Up skill, he's going to get a plus 15 AoE resistance. That's the first upgrade to his skills. His second upgrade is Fiagara. It's going to be an insta-cast spell. Right now it has a casting speed of 200, but that is going to be an insta-cast spell. And it also gets a slow effect added to it as well, like a 50% chance to slow if both you and your opponent has 97 faith. And then finally, he gets a new skill at a level 120, which can decrease movement by 1, and it has a range of 4. It is similar to the range of Fiagara, but it's -1. So Fiagara's maximum range is 5, so the new skill's range is going to be 4. It'll also be a AoE 1 cross, similar to Fiagara, but it is just 1 less range. So that's the skill upgrades. Now I'm going to actually talk about Rain and tell you my thoughts on it. I think with the addition of the new card that's coming out with him, he is going to be very, very powerful as a EX unit. In fact, I think he's going to be similar to Tidus, and I usually use Tidus as a benchmark because I think a lot of people have access to him now, being that he was a free unit and he was a very powerful unit. And I see Rain being on par with him. So first of all, why is Tidus so good? The reason I really like Tidus is because I can take any team. I can take like a light team with like say Yuna and Sakura, and I can just drop Tidus. Oops, where's Sakura? And I can just drop Tidus with this card and an Esper. I can put Leviathan or I can put like Odin, whatever I want, and he's good to go. Like I can focus the 2 other cards on the other 2 units, whoever they like, whatever they are. In this case, there can be 2 light units, but Tidus can do whatever he needs to do with just him and his card. And with Rain, I see a very similar thing happening with the EX version of Rain and the card that's coming out. So let's go over the card, and then I'll tell you why I see that. So the card, although we can't see the exact effects of the card, like the stats of the card, we can kind of get an idea just by reading this. So the card is going to be called Encounter of Heroes, and it's only for fire units. The party ability, it gives magic up, most likely 50%, gives accuracy up, I don't know, maybe it could be 25, it could be 15, I'm not sure yet. And then it gives slash resist, again most likely 20% up, but remains to be seen. Then it gives you a limited bestowed effect of strike resist up and maximum HP and accuracy up to whoever is holding this card. So I think it's similar to the card that Tidus has because it's going to significantly increase Rain's capabilities. Like for example, this card gives water slash attack of 35, which could be similar to the maximum slash attack that you can get, which is where did it go now? Which is this one, Echoing Screams. It gives 35 slash attack, so it's basically already this effect baked in to Tidus's card, and then he gets an additional effect on top of that. So I kind of see this similar for Rain's card. He'll probably get a magic attack 50%, and then an additional effect of accuracy and then slash resistance up. So I believe this card is probably going to be enough for his offensive capabilities. If you wanted to increase his offensive abilities even more, you can also put like the Lamia VC, which increases fire attack by more, or you can put like the slash attack card if he's going for slash damage mainly, or you can put Trousseau, which would increase his magic attack if he's going for, again, magic attack mainly. But the nice thing about magic up is that it affects both his slash and his magic type attacks. So again, like just that card is most likely going to be like very good for him as a unit. So you can take, like you can remove Tidus and just use Rain and whatever other comp you want with 2 other units. And I think that would be perfect. It would basically be just like how I'm using Tidus right now. So with that said, like previously, I really had a hard time using him as like a carry type of unit simply because his accuracy wasn't good. So if I was going to use him, I had to figure out some other way to get accuracy in there and be content with the fact that Rain is most likely not going to be able to hit evasive units. But with both a party ability of accuracy up and a bestowed effect of also accuracy up, I think that problem is not going to be as much of a burden on him anymore. Right now, if I'm using King Mont and I put all the accuracy gear I need to, for example, Odin, I put, where did it go? Aegon. Once I find Aegon, sorry, here, Aegon, and then I put a passive Alexandrite ring, and I change this passive to use this one. This is enough accuracy to hit a lot of things. Like I was fighting somebody who had a max evade Rob with all evasion cards and evasion buff, and King Mont had a 85%, 70 to 85%, depending on where I was standing, like from the front or the side, chance to hit him. That is insane. And like he doesn't have a guaranteed hit effect, but just putting all this accuracy stuff on him, that was enough. And I'm assuming I would probably see similar results with Rain. Now Rain doesn't have an accuracy passive, so it might be a little bit lower, but I could also compensate for that by giving him or somebody else an accuracy buff. Like I could put like 9S or something and give his assault field to give additional accuracy, something like that, right? But my point is now I don't like accuracy is not going to be a limiting factor when I'm considering Rain as one of my main carries. It used to be, but now with the accuracy up, vision card on both the party and bestowed effect, that is no longer going to be something that I'm that's going to be holding me back from using Rain as a carry of my team. Now there are several other things that Rain has going for him that makes him both an effective carry and just an all-around great unit. He has access to 2 different types of damage, and regardless of whatever your sub job is, because on his main job he already has Figara, which we talked about, which is a magic type attack, and then he has Soul Prominence, which is a slash type attack. So he has access to both. He also gets some really nice buffs. Like this one is, it's good because it raises his ice resistance and nullifies some status elements. But I don't like poison is one I'm starting to see more and more of. But the other ones I don't see too much of right now. But it's but if ever, for example, a petrifying unit comes around or something, we can use Rain and Rain will have a nullification to petrify with this effect. But on his Knight of Granshelt, he has Astral Guard, which gives him a barrier that reduces magic damage for 3 times. This is similar to the Saintly Wall that Tidus has, but Saintly Wall is for physical damage, whereas Astral Guard is for magic damage. So again, I see him being very comparable, except for Tidus, he's great against physical damage, whereas Rain is great against magic damage. The interesting thing, though, is that if I use the skill and Nivlu uses her barrier break, it will actually not remove this barrier because this barrier is only for magic damage. So for example, if Tidus uses Saintly Wall and Nivlu uses barrier break, that will destroy that barrier because that is a physical skill that's breaking a barrier and it will take it away. This is only a magic barrier. So if she uses barrier break, as far as I know from what a lot of people have told me and testing that they've done, this will not break the barrier. If I'm wrong about this, leave some comments below and I will take a look at it in more detail. But if it doesn't break the barrier, I think that's good because then this barrier stands for magic damage. So you can't use a Nivlu to remove a magic barrier and then nuke him with like a Yuna or something because the magic barrier will not get removed. He also has another pretty good skill that reduces defense and spirit, but it's only a range 1 skill, but still it's a nice like utility skill, and all of his skills are based on magic damage, which is great. Now there's one really big weakness with Rain, that is his weapon. His weapon was a limited weapon that comes back with like tower events, but if you don't have this weapon, there isn't many other weapons that are good for him to use. So he'll be a great tank, but he'll be missing a lot of damage. Now, if there's again another weapon that I missed, I don't think I missed any, but if there is, let me know again in the comments, and I will make sure to add it to this video somehow. But as far as I know, this is the only weapon that he can use that actually gives him a pretty good high magic stat. And that's important. If you don't have this, however, you can use something like the Soul of Tamasa, which gives magic attack of 120. It's not specific to Rain, it's just an accessory, so he can just equip that instead. But it would be 50 less magic, I believe, because it's 120 magic. But that's an alternative if you don't have it, but this is the best weapon for him by far, and I think your tower event is coming back, so hopefully that'll be a chance for you to grab it if you don't already have it. Now, the great thing about Rain is his access to Fiagara, which is going to be instacast. With mages in general, they usually have some kind of weakness. Like, for example, black mages, they have a great AoE range 5 skill, but those skills have cast times. With calculators, they don't have cast times, but they have low HP. Like, look at Ildira, look at Halloween Leela. They have pretty low HP, so they can't keep spamming. Sorry, they can, but they can't stay in range and take hits because they will die very quickly. But Rain doesn't have that. It doesn't have that limitation. Like, already he's at 6,300 HP with this build. Probably he will approach 8k when he gets his EX job. So he's going to get pretty tanky. He also has one other pretty glaring weakness, that is a strike resist of 30%. That is huge. Like, there are other units that have weaknesses too, like for example King Mont, but his strike resist weakness is only 10, whereas like you can see it's only 10, whereas Rain's is minus 30. So he might be potentially in the one-shot range for Kiza, or I think that's how you say it, or Giza, however we say it. So that is, I think, a pretty glaring weakness, and that's unfortunate. Now, the card does give a little bit of strike resist on the bestowed, but I'm assuming it'll be closer to 10% or 15%. But still, that is still a huge weakness. Thankfully, it is a little bit mitigated, but that weakness is probably not going away. Unless you find another like strike resist card in the party or something that you can put on him to make him a really good tank. But that weakness is most likely going to be there for a little bit. And then the good things about him, again, are that you can build him in so many different ways to tank magic damage. I already talked about Astral Guard. You can also put a Mage's Protection, which gives him 15% magic attack resistance, or you can put the Spirit up passive, which gives him 15 Spirit. Now you can look at, like, his Spirit is already 50 with this build. I can probably take it even higher with like this or something, with a Titan, but I can also do something like this, where I can give him, like, say 50 Spirit here and 40% magic resist, and he has Astral Guard on top of that, so he becomes like really, really tanky for magic damage, and this probably is going to be a very good counter for Black Rose Helena. There are some additional good points. That is his Red Mage subjob. So his Red Mage subjob gives him access to Jamming Thrust, which is a 5-move instacast ability that cancels ability activation. This is specifically useful for dealing with things like Yuna, because she tends to cast Kuraga and re-raise and full life and things like that often, and if he casts this on her, it will stop her cast mid-cast. And this is actually his, except for his LB, his second highest damaging ability, because it has a modifier of 200%. But if you don't take this, Fiagara still does a pretty good damage as well. I mean, and it's also the same range 5. And it has at least a height 2. You can actually go to height 3 if you, with the yellow, with the things that are highlighted in yellow. If you click on something that's height 2, you get +1 range because of the area height of 1. So it has a maximum height of 3 if you aim correctly. But anyway, like, it does similar damage. It has 185% modifier, whereas Jamming Thrust has 200% modifier. But the thing I really like about Red Mage is his access to Asuna and Kura. So Kura is going to heal pretty good, simply because he's going to have a high magic. He's going to have high magic, so Kura is going to heal probably in like the 2000 range, if not more. And Usuna is, I think, so useful now with so many enemies having all kinds of status effects. It removes disable, berserk, and stun, immobilize. These are all things that I see very often, and confusion as well. So I think having another unit on your team with access to Asuna is going to be, really good. So I think that he has Asuna is a good thing that he is going for him. And then what else does he have? His agility is a little bit on the slower side, unfortunately. His EX does give him +2 agility, but I think he will still be on the slower side compared to so many other units. So I think that's again another of his weakness. In terms of longevity for this unit, I think he will age quite well because of his limit burst, which gives him an ability to lower fire resistance by 38% at max level, which is going to be useful for things like raid, because right now I have access to like all the water units, and I can easily build a water team to take out like any raid boss. Like if I can't, like in this raid I already have King Mont, so I can do it with King Mont, but I can do a 4% solo team with water units and just chain water damage and take down the raid boss. The similar thing can be done with Rain, and it'll be even more powerful because of his limit burst, because with a minus 38% fire resistance, all of your fire units will be doing so much more excess damage to the boss, so it'll go down fast. So I think because of that, and because he has Soul Prominence, which is a 3-hit ability, which will help build chains faster, I think he's going to do really well in PvE scenarios as well. Oh, there's one other point that I want to mention to give it a well-rounded look on Rain, is that I think his level 120 skill, while it is nice and useful, I don't know if he'll be using it often in PvE, because I think since Figera has a higher range and a higher damage modifier, most likely the AI will choose to use Figera. It costs 30 AP, whereas the 120 skill costs 28 AP, so it's just 2 AP difference. So I think most of the time it'll use that instead of the 120 skill, so you might be okay at 115 if you don't plan on using him in manual content. In manual content, yeah, you can use it whenever you want, and it probably is very useful to control where your enemies can go. Like I use slow arrow on Nivlu a lot. But in auto battles, I see the AI picking to use Fire Gara. I've been saying that, and I hope it's right, but maybe I'm mispronouncing it. um, anyway, so I think the AI is going to choose to keep using that instead, unless you turn it off. And if you turn it off, then it might use the level 120 skill. But that is another consideration that you can take to maybe just leave him at 115 if you don't have the blossoms or shards to take him to 120. Me personally, I am low on blossoms right now, so I will not be taking Rain to his EX job right away. I'll probably wait on him a bit. I have 6 blossoms left, and I'm saving those for Frederica, so I will probably have to work on him after I'm done with Frederica and find a time where I have excess blossoms to take him up. But anyway, those are all my thoughts for Rain. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have other questions or comments, or have found other ways and uses of using Rain, please let me know it down below. I think he is going to be a very good tanky, high damage, high range unit, and I think he's on par with Tidus, and I think Tidus is great. So I think he's going to be a very good unit. Anyway, that's all from me. Take care, guys.